continue the show. We continue our news review, and even during that break, members of Parliament and the Senate, members of the National Assembly that we have and the Senate continued with the debate on whether or not they deserve that severance package. Remember, it will cost the taxpayer 3.3 billion shillings, not less than that.
Paltry, 3.3 billion.
Yes, but as Peter Kaluma says, Hio Stapata. They are so sure they will get it. We do not know what to do. And even as that happens, on page 19 of the Standard, councillors, former councillors of Nyamira County will now get 1 million shillings in pension. This is because the county assembly has awarded former councillors who served in the now defunct local authorities, 1 million shillings each as retirement benefits. And this is, they're saying, the story there is saying that in what is likely to stir similar demands in other counties, each of the 170 former civic leaders will also pocket 15,000 stipend every month. The 1 million shilling is a one-off settlement. This means the county will spend more than 400 million shillings on the send-off packages in the next financial year. This is just one county. We have 47 of them. Elgeyo Marakwet will do the same.
Very good. That is not new to me. I have hosted 40 councillors, former councillors. About 2 weeks ago, they came to my office. They presented a petition about what all this stemmed out from the debate, the motion that was passed by Senate, that was championed by Lenyangapuo, the senator of West Pokot. I need to set some few things straight. One is, it is very important for Kenyans to know the law, so that we devoid ourselves from emotions and public opinion. The law does not allow county assemblies to legislate, to use public finance, public money to pay former councillors. We need to look at our jurisdiction. We are dealing with Schedule 4. Functions of the county government.
Yes.
There is nowhere in the functions of county government where it is saying councillors. This is the opinion, this is the advice I gave to the councillors that I came. A well done opinion, advice, sorry, that if they want to do that, we need to go back all the way to the source. One, there is a role that is played by Treasury. There is a role that is played by Parliament. For me, it is purely the issue of National Assembly that should be able to look at that.
Not even the Senate.
Absolutely. Yeah, not even the Senate. The other thing is we need to look at our budgeting process. Our budgeting process. Where do we factor in such a thing? And again, are we opening a can of worms when we want to say, because automatically the moment we deal with that, in fact we are doing the course and it was coming to 239 billion.
Yet people feel that this is what they're entitled to. It's not about feelings that they needed this money because of services already rendered. You need some pension after that. Surely,
this is very, you know, Fred, we have to be fair. Fred, we must be a society that is sensitive to leadership. Fred, if you look at the life former members of Parliament live outside here, if you look at the life, the so-called former councillors live outside here, we should begin asking ourselves as a country whether we truly believe in what is called social security as a component of labor rights under the Constitution. We must agree, Speaker, and on this I disagree with you. I've always said, dear Fred, that the county assembly is to the county government what the National Assembly is to the national government.
Absolutely, that's okay.
I've always said here that we must respect, county governments as governments, not as appendages of the national government. And in fact, I've disagreed with the national government when they come out through the Minister for Devolution or otherwise to say we have given county governments such amount of money. Now, if you agree that the county assembly is the parliament of the county governments, we must agree there is also a law prescribing what they do and what they cannot do.
Which is there?
Can the good speaker show us this law that says that the county assemblies can legislate everything but not, some emoluments in terms of social security for former councillors within their jurisdiction? It is not there. So I want to congratulate this particular county. And I believe this is a very positive, pace setting. We cannot be a society, at the end, that at one level is saying, because we are in office now, we should have social security when we leave, forgetting the others dying there. You saw the story of somebody like Zephaniah Nyang'wara the other day, a member of parliament who served people with dignity, not thinking of how to be corrupt. He's abruptly unable to undergo kidney dialysis. Why? Because the social security arrangement did not cater for him. Because you remember we said, if you serve for a term, you are not entitled to pension. Yet you may serve for a term, but you serve as well as Zephaniah Nyang'wara. Look at the waistline of the leaders who served our people with distinction. And Fred, you remember there was a time in 2013, 2014, when Kangata will tell you the media was replete with an MP who earns zero pay. That was myself. And the society is finding it awkward that after mortgages and others, there is an MP that is running for it to be on the headline for laughing stock. We must say, as an MP, if it is opportunity for corruption, I have it. When I say it is zero pay, it is because I have my integrity. Once I mortgage my salary to things I value most, it ends there. Let us agree to respect the county governments. Let us agree that when there is a social issue within the government of the county, and we have monies that can cater for it,
we have the money. We have the money. Do we really have this money that we can now go back and start paying?
Well, my colleague here focus is on leaders, people who have a privilege at least of even getting a salary, but he's not focusing on the poor Wajiko. He's not focusing. Do you know how much is needed this country to ensure all our children in primary school get a meal every day from the government?
It's very small.
Only 20 billion per year.
And you
so surely you're telling me I use 20 billion to pay about 100 leaders, or 20 billion to pay 8 million poor children in our public school, which is a better and rational use of money. You are telling me to use only 20 billion to ensure no child goes to a Bible school hungry. You ensure there is high enrollment. You ensure there is a better quality of education, because a child without food cannot have a good output. To me, this is an issue of...
How many of your kind of legislators are there in the National Assembly that think like that?
No, I don't know, but I can tell you, listen.
He's pretending to
look here.
I would want to see him donated.
Look here, listen. Go check parliamentary proceedings. What they call it, Hansard, isn't it? I made an attempt to amend the appropriation bill.
Have you reduced your salary?
I made that attempt.
Have you given back a portion of your salary?
Fred,
to the children.
Fred, I just want to answer something.
No.
Fred, it's okay.
So this idea of you pampering leaders,
Fred,
they live like
I want to say something.
Fred,
let's speak.
Fred, I want to answer something. Fred, I want to respond to a few things.
Oh, good.
I am a firm believer that we need to follow the law. If you look at the mess that we are in today, it was created by transitional authority. As we are speaking now, we do not have a list of the former councillors or even a former mayors, a list, so that as we can be able to begin appreciating our senior leaders. We don't have. Secondly, if you look at parliament, historically they have a structure. They have systems that are running. 2 terms, there is a pension. Now you are asking the county governments to inherit a cost, and you already know that in terms of budget, and I want to say this, last week I had an opportunity to participate in the division of revenue, the discussion of finance, committee of Senate, and we were with Senator. I remember the Minister of the CS Treasury enumerating the grants, the maternity, the NHIF, the library. I never had anything called payment to the former councillors. And I want to ask my brother Kaluma. He's a lawyer, and remember, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm an accountant. What I know for a fact is Elgeyo Marakwet County is getting 3.8 billion. From where? we are getting the allocation from Senate. Okay, if you look at the budget lines that we are going to do, the moment we get into payment of such, from whatever we have been given,
$500 billion.
Absolutely.
So
all that I'm asking, exactly, that's what I'm saying. All that I'm saying, it is upon the Senate, Parliament, call it Senate and National Assembly, to relook into that. Please don't push into the county assemblies.
One, I think picking from where the speaker has stopped, and they're in agreement. There is nothing illegal in terms of legislating in such a matter as Nyamira has done. Nothing against the constitution, nothing against any statute.
So any county assembly
they can legislate,
and decide
but the issue
whoever.
is what the speaker is speaking to. That's where is the money?
Where is
the budget to deal with that? Say, you know, when you hear the National Assembly say they will give you the money, right now we are debating with the Division of Revenue Bill.
Absolutely.
I can tell you we are headed to a deadlock because it will go to mediation. We propose 29 more billion for county, which National Assembly do not support. And I will tell you it will actually be a deadlock. But going to this issue, because it came to my committee, I'm the Vice Chair of Labour Committee. In fact, they first petitioned us as a Senate in terms of what they need to be given to. And let me tell you, we're in a country where you demonize leaders. Let me tell you, you make it so bad that when I see them beg in this National Assembly or in the Parliament every day with torn shoes and begging 200 shillings to even go home, I feel terrible. I don't want to be there myself. And I tell you, you know, as a public, we also must not play it to public gallery, because he's a former councillor. He is a former councillor. And I will tell you, he's not even trying to take even a pay cut to do the things he's telling us and telling people of Muranga and telling the public. So let us not be hypocritical, because these are the people who will say it here, but in Parliament they will support it. But I'll tell you another thing about this petition. You know, these former councillors suffer. That is, and we are in agreement. But what are they asking for? First of all, it's not just the money. They're asking for facilities. You know, the same way a former member of Parliament can access the food that is subsidized in Parliament, they can access a parking slot, in Parliament. Those are some things they are doing and are requesting that are not impossible. If you ask me, access to the county government should not be impossible. Some of these things are things we can do, because we also must have dignity and social security for leaders. When we are in,
we're looking at this. We're looking at this. We're looking at a wage bill that is already over the top.
Look here. Can I answer?
He has already been allowed.
We'll come back to you,
on the wage bill. In fact, that is what I was blaming the SRC for. We must, shorten the gap between the highest earners and the lowest earners. And I'm saying, even if it means reducing the salaries of top earners, including the imagined members of Parliament and others, let us do so that we don't have a situation where some people with great qualifications and so little because of what they do or the careers they are in, and the others earn so much. But once we sanction it in law, let us follow that law. I want to tell you what happens in countries across the world. When you are in developing or developed countries like Germany and others, the issue of social security is also important. There is the bare minimum that keeps your dignity as a human being and as a citizen of the country you'll be given. So it becomes very awkward when we are here, in fact, talking about denying people who are not just, Kenyans as citizens, but also served. Remember, we are talking of public service, not public, earning. It's public service.
One point I agree with him, that we have a huge disparity in public service in terms of the top earners and the low earners. If that can be checked, I agree. In fact, I saw the other day SRC had
public service.
Yes, they had set out a certain schedule of how they are going to earn this. To me, I was not happy to the extent it appears those people in top grades were earning got even more. To that extent, I'm somehow unhappy with her. But beside that, I strongly believe that our focus as a country should be on that poor person. Look here, and I'm going to give you a good example. In my constituency, if you ask an average person, where do you support? And I will not even talk about Miradi or whatever, to be bursary. Bursary of how much? I give them an average of 5,000. So you'll find in one location, I've given about the let's say 5,000 children. Look here, you have given 5,000 students. You have used about, let's say, 10 million in a whole year, and people are so happy. So you'd imagine 10 million is equivalent to let's say 10 members of parliament.
How much is from your salary?
So no. Well, I agree. I'm saying even my own salary goes down. So that's my argument.
How much?
So I'm imagining if we are to kick out one member of parliament out, use his money to give poor people's bursary, including your constituency, I agree. People will be so happy. So to me, I have realized the main problem in this country is that we are channeling a lot of money to stop civil servants or civil servants in general, or send more money to poor people.
Fred, and on that note, 1 minute. Now that we are discussing about money, ladies and gentlemen, allow me. Let's have some order.
No, the final point.
Let's have some order.
All right.
Yes.
The final point. I consider a point. I'm a former councillor.
Yes.
To that extent, I agree.
Yes.
Something should be done.
And that position saved your career.
To that extent, I would propose this way. We can give them what we call a one-off, as maybe a lump sum.
1 million.
There is a positive aspect to do that. When you give them a one-off, it means you don't have what we call a pension burden. Because of a pension burden, by the way, it can bankrupt a country because it's usually perpetual and you're not really productive.
I want to mention only one thing. Okay, all right. I like Kangata the way he somehow contradicts himself, which I think is good for debate anyway. There is something that Senator Wangari has mentioned, and from the petition, which I have a copy. Among other things that the former councillors are asking, which have officially on the national television said, let the National Assembly address the issues of the package. Completely that is within their jurisdiction. But in terms of this other soft request, parking, issues to do with access to the parliamentary or county assembly restaurant, NHIF, a library, I think those are the things that it is within our mandate. We can be able to do that. But again, let's not be so quick to demonize leadership. I would appeal.
Now that we're discussing about leadership and probably send of packages and these other issues, there's a story on page 2 of the Daily Nation. Now this is about the former Deputy Chief Justice, Kalpana Rawal. Now, she was pushed out of office and into retirement in acrimonious circumstances, but the former Deputy Chief Justice could soon have a reason to smile after MPs approved a special package for her. Now, in changes, the law, the retirement benefits due to officers at the top of the three arms of government, MPs have granted Justice Rawal a range of benefits that will ensure she's comfortable in her old age. 1, she shall get a lump sum payment of 1 year's salary for the term she served. This means that because she served one term, she will get about $1 million. I do not know. During her lifetime, Justice Rawal shall be entitled to a monthly pension of 80% of the pay of the current Deputy Chief Justice.
Good.
A saloon car of at most 2,000 cc replaceable every 4 years. A 4-wheel drive vehicle at most 3,000 cc replaceable every 4 years. A fuel, listen let me finish. There's more.
This is fake. I have a scandal.
Why are you in parliament?
I blame myself.
Why are you in parliament?
No. Let's have some order. Let's have some order, Kangata. Calm down. A fuel allowance of 15% of the current salary of the Deputy Chief Justice. That's a fuel allowance. 15% of the current salary of the order.
I'm looking at the president.
We need to have some order.
I'm looking at the president.
He's a former councillor. He has to be given opportunity. That's what they used to be doing.
The position we had is that this thing came through what we call Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendment Bill. And that bill has been there in Parliament, I can tell you, Fred, for over 6 months. And particularly on the emolument of the Chief Justice and the Deputy Chief Justice, it is a matter that, though the bill deals with many issues, was remitted to the committee where Kangata and I sit, the Justice and Governance Committee.
Very good.
I personally oppose to this, not because it should not be awarded, because we were saying for Chief Justice and Deputy Chief Justice being judges, we have a bill called Retirement Benefits, bill, the Retirement Benefits Bill for judges generally. As a Chief Justice and Rawal, they are judges. And of course, in that bill, Kangata is not telling you but we propose better terms for them than this. Actually, we are talking of a 300cc, brand new, not the one you are using under the terms. And it goes to what I was talking about. Don't look at this thing in the manner the media is portraying it as Rawal. The law that was being amended is the law called the Presidents and Deputy Presidents and Designated Officers Retirement Benefit Bill, where we have the President, the Deputy President, the Speaker of the National Assembly and Senate, and they were saying an arm of government is left called the judiciary. So let us also have the Chief Justice and the Deputy Chief Justice. So it is not for a while. It is for any person who serves. Yes, it's for any person under the new constitution who serves in those positions. And we are saying, when you've reached the level of leading an arm of government like the judiciary, we don't want to see what happened to Bernard Chunga. Happened to you. You headed the justice organ. I felt very bad one day when I saw, or I found, Judge Chunga, a great Chief Justice for all intents and purposes, a very good administrator we had, walking in hanging shirts, in slippers around the supermarket. There must be some honor and dignity about any person who has been the embodiment of that office. And that is what we are talking about. So the terms are not as exaggerated as people think. Remember what we did for President Kibaki. And I can tell you, can open your eyes. President Kibaki is still able to go for treatment when his health is in need because we provided a package. Is now, recuperating well in Mwega, which we built with the public money. We must protect the holders of offices in a way that dignifies those officers.
You say you would oppose this?
But
yes,
he has changed.
No, I would urge the president
not to
sign this bill and to veto that clause. For obvious reasons. One, public service is about service. It's not about personal gain. When you look at the kind of money that we are portioning to just one individual, it will be into millions of shillings. Which millions of shillings from where I sit can better be employed to help other humans in this country? The Constitution is very clear. There is no one who is a superhuman. We are all humans. Whether I'm a member of parliament, whether I'm a deputy CJ, whether I'm a president, and that Mama Mboga outside. This idea where we use public money to make some people up their fat, when this money ought to have been employed to do more productive things to help the poor person, I disagree 100%.
Let me say
it is true. Look here, the final point. You're arguing that the former president can get sick. Fine, I agree. But what about so many Kenyans who are getting sick and they can't pay 5,000 shillings to go to hospital?
He embodies something.
Hey, what about those people?
Final comment, Senator?
My final comment on this, first of all, it came to the committee where he sits. He had the opportunity to oppose it.
I do so.
At the committee level, he still has the opportunity to oppose it on the floor. So let us not play cosmetic politics. But going forward, something like this being done in the law for me is perfect, because even in the private sector there are retirement packages or pension schemes that exist, some even better than public service. We must not demonize these offices just because it is the popular thing to say, or it is a most selling, it will help you sell the newspapers. It can't work like that. So what I would say is that this package, as long as it is done via the law, that is simply, for me, that is a simple requirement. It must go through the law. If you need to amend, that is why it is in parliament. That is why
it has been passed.
And if it's passed, let the president sign it.
Final comments, Madam Speaker.
I really want to appreciate Irungo Kangan. The only problem is all that they are saying today, to a great extent,
politics.
We agree with what he's saying, but the forum is wrong. Because all that we are saying, because every time we want to raise an issue of national interest, he brings the, I mean, we all care about Kenyans. We are leaders. We know what Mama Mboga should be able to do. But I think he's just played politics. But Amabi is a former councillor anyway, so it works. But what my final comments on this is now what I want to say is I think on the issues of the doctors, it's unfortunate that we didn't discuss today, and I don't know what, Fred, you're up to today, because you said this meeting, this debate today on leaders and payment. I don't know what you're up to. But then on issues of the doctors, I think the Secretary General and the entire leadership of this KMPDU are taking Kenyans for a ride.
Okay.
I think enough is enough. We are fed up with their circus and fracas and going to court every day. And politics. I strongly believe, by the way, I think there is a hand of politics now.
Okay.
Secondly, I want to thank His Excellency the Deputy President and the President, the Commander, for rescuing the people of Baringo and Kerio Valley, Elgeyo Marakwet.
Okay.
We are happy as a leadership for the move that he did. It is in record that I had to stop the public participation on budget making hearing to allow our people in Kerio Valley, because they were not able to participate. And I'm happy to say today, the national television, we are coming back for the public participation for the same.
Okay.
Finally, is to all of us, I think we have a responsibility, individual and collective responsibility, to be able to guard this country called Kenya.
Okay.
Very good.
Bwana Kaluma, you're looking, you have something to say? 30 seconds only, Bwana Kangata, 30 seconds only, because you give me. No, I've given you no. Anyway, 30 seconds.
You know, the situation in Baringo made me very sad.
Yes.
More so to remember that this is the county that produced our president for 24 years. Fred, when you see a deputy president running because of gunshots, I don't know whether you watched KTN. I know we love Citizen more, but the deputy president really taking on foot running life. You know, that is the embodiment of our presidency, because it is the president and the deputy. We don't want that situation. When we see the people of Baringo still lack water, the people of Baringo still getting food dons, it is a very painful thing, and it speaks to the need for equity in this country. I think we should move the country.
My final comment.
Just before, I'll give you as the last one.
Yes, I take this opportunity to send condolences to the family and relatives of the children who died in an accident in my constituency at a place called Kegetwini in Gaturu Ward. Children passed on. I would urge the contractor who is on site doing that road to hasten that process. Most likely, if that road was done, that accident would not have happened. So I will be visiting that family, God willing, over this weekend. But also may also take this opportunity to thank the presidency for having granted Keharu constituency for tarmac road within 4 years. We are so happy for that. So but they should happen.
Thank you.
My conclusion is to the people of Baringo and West Pokot, in the areas that the Kerio Valley. And let me tell you something, in Elgeyo Marakwet, next week on Wednesday we celebrate the International Women's Day.
Yes.
I will not have come here for this forum. I would want us to celebrate that by maintaining peace, because the people who suffer most when there is conflict are women and children. What we saw on that conflict of children of 11 years trying to take care of even other children is a heartbreaking story. Guys, let us just maintain peace. There is bigger. This Kenya is bigger than any of us, and people must take responsibility. The killings we are seeing of aspirants, political assassinations, there must be a responsibility. There must be someone who takes the responsibility.
Thank you, Senator Martha Wangari, Peter Kaluma, MP Homa Bay, Rungu Kangata, MP Kiharu, and of course Albert Kuche, Speaker Elgeyo Marakwet, helping us look at the headlines this morning. Remember, Power Breakfast continues. My colleagues Willis Waburu and Joy Muvengi are GP karting, and will be heading there shortly. But before that, we'll get to enjoy some music. My name is Freddie Muli.